Back in September of 2022, construction crews stumbled upon the remains of 44-year-old Stephanie Pavlovs deep within a wooded patch. This grisly find occurred adjacent to a major medical complex in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where her body had lain unnoticed for several weeks. By the time she was located, decomposition made it impossible to pinpoint Stephanie's cause of death, leaving investigators to theorize how she ended up there. Though concealed in an open area, detectives suspected foul play immediately, and as they pieced together Stephanie's timeline, a portrait of lies and homicide materialized. It all began on September 9th, 2022, when 3 laborers in Waukesha, Wisconsin, were marking off a section of an empty lot along Gulf Road. The landscape was somewhat wild and unkempt, creating a small forest buffer sandwiched between a sprawling medical facility and a local golf course. As the crew moved toward the tree line to post no trespassing markers, they were suddenly hit by an unmistakable and pungent smell of decay.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
It's the Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin on Gulf Road.
Okay, is that the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin?
Yep, it's behind it. It's in the vacant lot next to it.
And tell me exactly what happened?
We found a dead body in the woods when we were putting up stakes for no trespassing signs. We smelled something and then saw there's a dead guy back there. He's for a long time, so he ain't coming back from it, so.
Okay.
Hidden within the high grass near the timberline lay the decomposed body of a female, later confirmed to be 44-year-old Stephanie Pavlovs. Determining exactly how long she had been in the woods was difficult, but the advanced state of decomposition suggested she had been lying there for at least a few weeks. Surprisingly, Stephanie had never been reported missing. The 44-year-old single mother had a 19-year-old daughter named Layla, whose frantic attempts to reach her via texts and voicemails had been ignored since late August, despite Stephanie maintaining semi-regular communication with her own parents. She was particularly close with her mother, Georgian, and had spent the last 5 years intermittently residing at their family home in Delafield. In a tragic turn of events, Stephanie's parents were not informed of her passing until September 12th, a full 3 days after her body was recovered. Georgian had been texting her daughter for the past 2 weeks, noting the lack of response was strange, yet she did not find it immediately alarming. She described Stephanie as a private individual who managed her own affairs. Meanwhile, at the crime scene, investigators found no trail leading to the body, though litter suggested foot traffic. Amidst scattered beer cans and debris, police located 2 critical pieces of evidence within 15 feet of the body: a vaping device belonging to Stephanie and a surgical scalpel. The scalpel appeared pristine with no visible residue, and aside from her dark jeans, white sneakers, and baggy black t-shirt, no other personal effects were found. The pathologist tasked with the autopsy faced significant hurdles due to the condition of the remains, which severely compromised the examination. Because of the extensive decay, authorities could not officially conclude the cause or manner of death, and the toxicology report was similarly restricted in scope. With limited muscle and tissue available for testing, the lab could only confirm that Stephanie had remnants of her standard prescription medications in her system. Stephanie managed a seizure disorder with medication and held prescriptions for oxycodone to treat lingering neck pain from a car accident. She also utilized Xanax to control her anxiety. Determining if Stephanie died from natural causes, a medical condition, or a reaction to her prescriptions, or if she was a victim of foul play, was a mystery the autopsy could not resolve. When investigators informed Stephanie's parents of her death on September 12th, they discovered she had not been residing at their home consistently for several months prior. Instead, Stephanie had been staying with her on-again, off-again boyfriend, 55-year-old Matthew Paul. Matthew rented a unit at the Willow Park Apartments on Delafield Street in Waukesha. He fathered Stephanie's adult daughter, and the pair had maintained a connection for over 20 years. Suspiciously, Matthew never reported his girlfriend missing. Rather than confronting Matthew immediately, detectives approached the Willow Park building management to request several weeks of video surveillance footage. They hoped to spot Stephanie and construct a timeline leading up to her death. Recovering slowly from a broken foot, Matthew was recorded hobbling in and out of the building's north exit during late August. He frequently entered from the parking lot, pausing briefly to prop the door open. Detectives soon understood the motive behind this action. Stephanie was usually following close behind, and it was obvious she did not possess a key. The pair regularly entered and exited the apartment separately, usually within just a few minutes of one another. It violated the terms of Matthew's lease to house another resident in his unit. The building's security footage made it undeniably clear Matthew was skirting the rules. Stephanie was definitely living there. The final time cameras at Willow Park captured Stephanie was August 23rd, 17 days before she was found in the woods. At 8 in the morning, she left the north side, clad in the identical jeans, shoes, and oversized t-shirt she would later be discovered wearing. She was also carrying a black purse with a chain strap and a large pink water bottle. At 8:40, Matthew was recorded exiting the side of the building while holding a plastic bag. The contents inside were not clearly discernible. Dash camera footage from Matthew's truck captured only a few brief seconds that morning, showing him driving around the building to pick up Stephanie. The couple then drove to the Quick Trip on Grandview, where Stephanie went inside to buy breakfast. Matthew waited in the truck for her return. Stephanie briefly stepped out of the vehicle to throw away their trash. That was the last time she was ever seen on camera alive. The couple finished eating and were back on the road by roughly 9 in the morning. They were headed to Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, the OAW building, for Matthew's foot injury appointment. By 9:34, Matthew was sitting in the clinic waiting room. He snapped a photo of his view to send to a friend. 4 minutes later, a doctor saw him. Stephanie never entered the structure. She was absent from the meeting with Matthew. The working theory was that she remained in the truck, awaiting his return. Cellular data retrieved from both Matthew and Stephanie's phones placed them within the vicinity of the OAW building. Starting at 9:20 that morning, pings off nearby towers confirmed both devices stayed in that immediate area together. Records show Matthew's appointment concluded at 10:33. By 10:52, both signals shifted eastward toward the woods. This established a window of roughly 20 minutes where the couple was likely together on the premises. Before the phones tracked back to the Willow Park apartments, detectives reviewed security footage from later that day. It showed Matthew returning home, but Stephanie was gone. 17 days later, her remains were discovered in the forest east of the OAW. Matthew was brought in for interrogation on September 17th. As he fielded questions, a specialized team was searching his vehicle and apartment. 5 days had elapsed since Georgian and Rich Pavlovs received the notification of their daughter's death. The news was kept under wraps. No press release had been issued, identifying Stephanie as the decedent found in the woods. The Pavlovs family hadn't broken the news to Matthew. The relationship was strained. At no point during the interview did the Waukesha detectives inform him that the mother of his only child was deceased.
We have some real basic questions, and you can answer whatever questions you choose to. If you don't want to answer a question, don't answer it.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Do you have any, are you curious at all about why we want to talk to you?
Well, of course I am.
Right.
Something that happened yesterday, I mean, I went right over by it, but please, I mean, nobody...
We're not here about anything yesterday, okay? Let's talk about Stephanie. What is she to you?
Oh my God. Stephanie is the mother of my daughter. And you guys already know that.
Yeah. Did you guys have a current relationship?
We've always had some type of relationship with helping each other.
Yeah.
When nudged to discuss Stephanie, Matthew explained that she had recently been assisting him. He claimed his foot and ankle injury limited his movement, but insisted the help was mutual. She was always chasing the demons in her head, he remarked. implying that the side effects from her medication regimen created a potentially toxic combination.
Do you know where she is? Do you know when's the last time you saw her?
No.
You don't know where she is? Do you remember the last time you saw her?
No, weeks ago.
Weeks ago?
And I'm sick to my stomach.
Why is that?
Because I have a bad feeling.
Walk me through the last, when you said you saw her a few weeks ago, where were you guys?
I can't recall the exact time that I saw her. She, do you want to go to that, or do you want to stick on the antidepressants? And the few times I had to go to the hospital with her because she was in such poor condition.
We'll come back to that.
According to his assessment, Stephanie had a history of prescription overdoses and struggled with depression. Although he couldn't recall the exact moment he last saw her, Matthew described instances where Stephanie would abruptly disappear for extended durations without any prior notice. Detectives eventually steered the interrogation back to the last confirmed sighting of Stephanie alive on the morning of August 23rd. That was the trip to the OAW building with Matthew.
You went with her to an appointment at orthopedic.
You guys know something you're not telling me.
No, we're trying to figure out where she is or who last saw her. So I guess you just told me you said you guys went to orthopedics together.
Yeah. Oh, I've been going to orthopedics since.
Right. This is the day after
May.
Right. This is the day after though. You guys went mattress shopping.
I can't recall the exact dates, but she went there with me a few times.
Okay. This would be the last time that you would have seen her though. In the last few weeks, you said. This one would be kind of. I would. If you're thinking back. You haven't seen her since this day. And you said you guys went out there.
I believe so.
You went into your appointment. So this is the last time you would have seen her, it sounds like. Okay. Did she come in the building with you? Do you remember?
No.
She stayed in the truck?
Yeah, she stayed in the truck.
You finished your appointment?
Yeah.
Come out to your truck? 10 and 1.
She's gone.
She's not in the truck anymore?
She's gone, yeah.
Did she have the keys or no? Do you remember?
Oh, no, I had the keys.
He alleged that when he got back to the truck, Stephanie had vanished. He claimed he drove around the vicinity searching for her. He couldn't call her, he stated, because he was aware she had left her phone at the apartment. As Matthew continued his narrative with detectives, officers were busy scouring his apartment. They discovered 2 items inside that immediately raised red flags. The first was the large pink water bottle Stephanie carried on the morning of August 23rd, the last time she was seen walking out of the building. It was now sitting on the floor of Matthew's residence. The second was her black purse, an item Stephanie had with her constantly in the days before she vanished. This timeline includes the very last day she was known to be alive. Her handbag had been tucked away inside the bedroom dresser. Matthew claimed that discovering this purse was the exact moment his concern for Stephanie began to mount. According to his story, he stumbled upon it in the back of his truck more than a week after their last encounter, supposedly while he was tidying up his vehicle at the local car wash.
When I really got worried and didn't understand what was going on is she put her purse in the back of my truck.
Okay.
In the back seat. I didn't notice that the purse was in the back seat until I went to the car wash about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I took out my car mats and I started cleaning everything, and lo and behold, I see her purse, and then that's when I was like thinking, well, this is strange.
Surveillance footage captured inside that car wash on September 6th explicitly confirms that Matthew Paul was there, actively cleaning out his truck. What the video fails to capture is him retrieving a purse, shaking out floor mats, or reacting to any sort of alarming discovery. Naturally, the Waukesha detectives were already well aware of this discrepancy. They had established that Matthew did not stumble upon the purse a week later. Instead, he had personally carried it into his apartment on the afternoon of August 23rd. Mere hours after departing the OAW facility, at approximately 10 minutes past 11, Matthew was recorded entering through the north door. Clutching the pink water bottle under one arm, a notable sight for the first time in days, he made no attempt to pause and prop the door open for Stephanie. He simply strode inside, allowing the heavy door to shut and lock behind him. It appeared as if he possessed prior knowledge that, this time, she would not be coming back. Later that same afternoon, roughly 1 hour on, cameras caught him exiting the building. When he returned just moments later, he was clutching a plastic shopping bag. Investigators strongly suspected Stephanie's black purse was concealed inside.
Okay, this is where we need to figure out something because it doesn't make any sense. All right? That's you coming back the same day at 11:14. Okay? Hold on, listen, Matt. You're holding her water bottle, and Matt, this is the same day. And at 12:29, so less than an hour later, you walk in, and that's her purse in the bag. Okay? So this whole story, Matt.
That's her purse in the bag.
Yes, Matt. So the whole story about finding the purse in the truck later makes it wouldn't have happened. Because
No.
Matt, that's her purse in a plastic bag. Okay, that you carried inside after you carried her water bottle in. That she walked. Matt, look. You see? That's her water bottle and that's her purse. Okay, you walk in with her water bottle. You go
Well,
upstairs.
what time is this?
Well, when you got home, Matt.
Yeah, that's when I came back from my appointment.
Right.
Matthew had asserted that 2 of her handbags were left in his truck, the black one with the chain strap, and also a gray one. He was not technically lying. Rather, he was spinning a tale about a different bag entirely, one he claimed to have located while at the car wash. A glaring contradiction also emerged within the statements he provided regarding Stephanie's phone. He initially stated that she had left the device at home earlier that day. He also informed them that he subsequently discovered it within the apartment, and that this specific finding had sparked his concern.
Not too long ago, I asked you what property she left in the truck, and you said nothing. She didn't leave anything. You said she left her phone at home. Okay? You said she left nothing in there. You went looking around, nothing. Okay? And then a week later, or 2 weeks later, you found her purse.
I honestly don't recall everything. I don't know. The phone might have been in the car.
You told her when you went to your appointment that I'll text you, and she said, no, I left my phone in the house. That's what you told us a little while ago.
If you're going to charge me. I didn't do anything. I
You're
can't
the only one who can give us info about her.
I can't be
so we can
honest.
get answers to her family.
I can't be honest anymore.
What do you mean you can't be honest? You've been honest?
I can't be
You
honest
haven't been honest
because
with us, Matt.
you keep everything that I
We're not
say.
twisting anything you say.
keep twisting
All
it
we're doing is pointing out the inconsistencies on what you're
because
saying.
I can't remember everything.
The handbag or multiple handbags and Stephanie's cell phone were not the exclusive items Matthew claimed to have unearthed during Stephanie's absence. During that very same car cleaning session, Matthew alleged he discovered a note written by Stephanie on yellow paper. He claimed it had been tucked underneath a floor mat. That note might offer an explanation for why Stephanie was no longer present, regardless of how it happened. Because within it, she vents her pure anger. It read in part, "I hate you. I hate being blamed for shit I did not do. I am done being used, abused, and taken for granted. All you care about is yourself and what you can use people for. My parents are the exact same way. I am not allowed to speak my mind around you, drive, spend money, or even feel good." The note could have supported Matthew's assertion that Stephanie was miserable in her life and had perhaps chosen to depart on her own accord on the 23rd. However, it also offered a disturbing glimpse into the controlling and abusive nature of their relationship. At the Pavlov residence on Delafield, where Stephanie occasionally resided, officers uncovered a collection of journals. Spanning through the spring of 2021, these entries caught the detectives' eyes, as Stephanie documented her heated altercations with Matthew. She described moments when he would fly off the handle, detailing his controlling grip on her prescriptions and how he would swipe the pills for his own use. He would often get furious if she actually used her own medicine, and she described his eyes as being filled with hate. By later that year, he was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There were stretches of days or even weeks where she seemed okay, maybe even happy. But those times never stuck, always broken by another log regarding Matthew's conduct. During these lows, her writing turned inward and critical. Stephanie expressed feeling totally isolated and that her partner walked all over her like a doormat. There was zero doubt that Matthew Paul was a terrible boyfriend to Stephanie, but being a bad partner did not disprove Matthew's insistence that he didn't kill her. You could argue it actually backed him up, as he asserted that Stephanie might have decided to walk away simply because she was miserable. She may have met with foul play or had a medical crisis out there, or he implied she was so unhappy that she might have chosen to end things herself in those woods. Investigators quickly uncovered that Matthew was juggling relationships with 2 other women, and there was evidence suggesting Stephanie was aware. She knew of at least one affair. Both of these women lived in the Philippines, and Matthew communicated with them primarily through Skype. But he wanted to move things forward, and Matthew was actually planning a trip to visit one or both of them before he hurt his foot. Ostensibly, Stephanie was supposed to go too, but after she died, detectives theorized that Matthew just wanted Stephanie to nurse him back to full strength. This was all before he kicked off a new life in the Philippines without her. Matthew Paul was eventually handcuffed and charged with the murder of Stephanie Pavlovs. He entered a not guilty plea and faced trial in late October 2025. The prosecution's case relied heavily on circumstances, as physical evidence was scarce. Prosecutors couldn't even say for sure how Stephanie died. Her cause of death was undetermined, and the theory of how Matthew killed her at the OAW building remained unclear. The timeline at the building that day was murky. Was she murdered in the truck and moved, or had the pair walked out into the woods together? A cadaver dog, tasked with sniffing a lineup of vehicles, had alerted handlers to the trailer of Matthew's truck. Why would Matthew have put Stephanie in the back of his truck? A huge chunk of the state's argument hinged on Matthew's behavior before and after she vanished. He was a controlling partner, and his affairs in the Philippines provided a motive. It was also an undeniable fact that the couple drove together to that specific location. That is where Stephanie was eventually found deceased, and it was the exact spot Matthew last saw her alive, a detail he tried desperately to conceal from the detectives. Prosecuting attorney Sue Opper presented the state's opening arguments.
During these 2 gaps, the 16-minute gap before the appointment and the 20-minute gap after the appointment, we have no idea where Mr. Paul is or what he's doing. There's no activity on his phone. He's not moving anywhere. There's nothing that we could find that tells us what he's up to during these gaps of time.
While the defense immediately challenged the plausibility of the prosecution's theory, questioning how Matthew could have executed a murder in broad daylight, located in a high-traffic zone visible from a bustling medical complex and a populated golf course, without a single witness reporting any suspicious activity. They further pressed on the logistics, asking how he managed to transport Stephanie and conceal her body within the woods, traversing the uneven, overgrown terrain while suffering from an injured foot.
Keep in mind, her body was found in a wooded area that is bound by a heavily traveled frontage road and interstate, a very busy health center, a golf course, and homes. Ask if Matt carried Stephanie into that wooded area, when would he have done that? Keep in mind, the government has hundreds of hours of camera footage and cell phone mapping. Keep in mind, Matt was still dealing with a broken foot. Finally, ask, what proof does the government have that Stephanie was even killed by another person? It could have been suicide, it could have been medical issues, it could have been anything.
However, digital forensics from Matthew Paul's cell phone painted a damning picture. From late August through early September, he compulsively monitored news feeds for Stephanie's name. He specifically targeted his queries toward obituaries and local funeral homes, conducting every single one of these searches well before authorities had even discovered her body. His communication patterns shifted as well, showing a marked increase in contact with his father, whose own devices revealed a browser history mirroring Matthew's incriminating searches. Investigators concluded Matthew likely performed these searches while visiting his father's residence. In a message to a girlfriend in the Philippines, Matthew admitted, "I cannot tell about certain things I did. I called my dad and he is pretty worried too. Something happened. Hun, I cannot explain in text," he continued, hinting at a grave situation. Following that cryptic exchange, Matthew engaged in a 2-hour Skype call with her. Authorities also seized dash camera footage recovered from his father's home, originating from Matthew's truck. While recordings from the critical morning of August 23rd were missing, detectives successfully recovered data showing a trip to the OAW building that Matthew made on the 9th, the very day Stephanie was located. Arriving for a scheduled appointment, Matthew found the parking lot and perimeter swarming with law enforcement cruisers and crime scene units. Curiously, instead of turning into the facility for his appointment, Matthew made an evasive move and drove straight past the entrance. He proceeded on an extended detour into a subdivision down Gulf Road, looping around slowly before finally making his way back to the OAW facility. The state argued the most logical explanation for this deviation was sheer panic. Unlike other patients arriving that day, Matthew seemingly realized exactly why law enforcement was there, possessing specific knowledge of who and what lay discovered adjacent to the golf course. Ultimately, Matthew exercised his right to remain silent and declined to testify. He utilized his distinct moment of speaking in court solely to take a jab at Prosecutor Opper.
Have you discussed your decision whether or not to testify with your attorneys?
Yes.
Have you made a decision?
Yes.
What is your decision, sir?
Well, I think Opper's too good at fabrication, so I don't think it would be a good idea for me to testify.
Okay.
Shifting tactics, the defense called a toxicologist as their key witness to conduct a review of the autopsy report prepared by the medical examiner. Dr. Stacy Hale provided a detailed breakdown regarding the usage and potential adverse reactions associated with each of Stephanie's prescriptions. She posited that alternative factors ranging from accidental to natural causes, and everything in between, could have precipitated the fatality.
In this case, a seizure a possibility.
Yes.
There's reports in her medical records about depression.
Yes.
In this case, was an overdose a possibility.
Yes.
Do you believe a natural cause of death is a possibility?
Yes.
Back in June of 2022, Stephanie had authored a desperate Facebook post expressing deep feelings of isolation and being unwanted. That message served as a catalyst, allowing her to reconnect with an old friend named Andy, who was navigating his own personal hardships. Over the ensuing weeks, their correspondence remained encouraging, hopeful, and sincere, directly contradicting the defense team's claims that Stephanie was in a state of despair. These communications revealed a woman actively pursuing joy, companionship, and a new beginning, as prosecutors displayed one of her final Facebook interactions to the jury. It was a snapshot captured inside her parents' garage, featuring Stephanie flashing a playful smirk at her friend while they finalized plans for a dinner date. This image depicted a woman fully prepared to move forward and seek a better life, supporting the state's argument that the yellow note found in the truck served as Stephanie's final notice to Matthew that she was walking away. She had exited the vehicle voluntarily that day to escape him, yet he had stalked right after her. Investigators theorized that the cadaver dog subsequently alerted to the truck's trailer because that was the precise location where Matthew had discarded the murder weapon, Stephanie's black handbag.
She says, "I hate you. I hate being with you. All you care about is yourself. I'm not allowed to speak my mind around you, drive, spend money, or even feel good. Karma came back to you because your foot injury, not me. Go be with your virgin, because I'm done, and keep the fucking money. She can't just sit there any longer. So she decides to walk towards that wooded area. She's probably thinking, hey, maybe I can go into the woods for some cover. Maybe I can walk over to a subdivision, call my mom. Maybe I can get to the golf course, call my mom. I just gotta get out of sight. He can't see me leaving. And he goes after her. He gets out of the truck. He comes after her. He grabs her by the back of the shirt. That shirt's too big. He's pulling the shirt up at her neck. And there's a struggle just outside the area of the woods. Maybe Miss Pavlovs is vaping. During that struggle, she drops her vape. Mr. Paul continues to grab at her shirt. He's not letting her go. And then what happens? Mr. Paul grabs her purse. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the murder weapon. He wraps this around her neck. He strangles her for just a minute or two. That's all it takes. She goes unconscious, and she's dead. He uses the strap of her own purse to kill her.
The jury returned a verdict on all counts in just over 1 hour.
The verdicts read as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Matthew E. Paul, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. The second verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Matthew E. Paul, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information. And each is dated today's date.
On November
11th, 2025, Matthew Paul was handed a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.